Hello friends, let's start from the beginning this stream on my channel Dr. Victor Fursov, entomologist, beekeeper, teacher. And I press the button go live and go online. Hello my dear friends, best greetings from Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. My name Dr. Victor Fursov, I'm research entomologist, beekeeper and teacher. And today we are presenting you different videos about insects which are just living here nearby, near Kyiv, and I recorded them in a different time during the past season, spring, summer and autumn. Now it's winter time, it's a pretty cold or relatively warm, rather warm actually, +2 Celsius degree today in Kyiv, just raining and snowing a little bit, but still rain, very warm. So because global warming is very good for our army to protect our land against aggressors. But today we are not talking about politics, we are talking about entomology on my channel. And channel is about bumblebees, about bees, about crickets, grasshoppers, about wasps, about beetles, about different invertebrates. Sometimes I will show you also some invertebrates under the microscope, under the high magnification, like some microorganisms, like some small, very tiny algae, some small, tiny plants in water from the stream, maybe from the pond. So it can be quite interesting, but today we are talking about insects. And first insect is going according to my channel. My channel is about entomology, beekeeping, and I'm teacher. So that's why I would like to present you first video about honeybees. Honeybees in Ukraine are very popular because Ukraine is on the 5th place for collecting honey. Now maybe just not so important because we have very difficult time, but honeybees, this is beloved subject for Ukrainian beekeepers, which have different types of beehives, Ukrainian type of beehive, Dadant, and many Alp beehives and some others. And you can see these types of beehives on my channel. And of course, sometimes I can show and you can watch in the native situation near apiary some swarming. So that's why it's quite interesting to show you swarm, how beekeepers can collect swarm, how to take care about it, how to prevent it, and how it's working, how it's going out, because cluster of bees, this is absolutely wonderful situation to watch for that. But this is entrance to a beehive, so worker bees are very busy crawling around, searching, and usually meeting with coming foragers. And here in the center, this is a drone male honeybee. A little bit bigger, more hairy, and very important for reproduction. Drone is important because passing genetical material from one generation to the next generation, half of material, or maybe less, because bee queen is mating with several drones. So that's why not half, little bit less, but at least his hereditary material, his genes are passing to the next generation through after the mating with queen. It's very funny to observe bees just near the entrance, and of course it's absolutely a wonderful time to stay near the entrance, observe how they're flying, how they're bringing pollen and nectar, how guards bees are looking for coming foragers, how they're just trying to avoid robber bees, because some robber bees also try to steal some honey from another beehives. But there are different types of bees, not only honeybees. There are some native bees. Native bees completely different from honeybees. Why completely? Because they have a different morphological structure, different behavior, and they are solitary bees. We have only one species, social bees in Ukraine. This is Apis mellifera or honeybee. In some southern areas, like in India, there is Apis indica and other species as well, bigger size. I still don't have Apis indica in my collection because it is quite interesting to compare morphological structure, but this is sweet bee, not sweet like a sugar, no, sweet bee, because special name for these tiny bees of a family Halictidae. This is Halicta bee, very tiny bee, maybe about 6 millimeters size, very hairy, even hairy, all legs hairy, and she's not collecting pollen on hind legs only, like on scopula, on scopa, like honeybee, but also on the body on the whole body, mostly on abdomen, on beneath of the abdomen. Halictidae collecting pollen and bringing even more pollen than just comparison with a honeybee. And they're very important pollinators because they're pollinating different small flowers, and they're starting to pollinate early springtime when honeybees still not so active. But sweet bees, like this family Halictidae, very active during the whole season, not only in the springtime, because they are making actually different types of colonies, small colonies, but less in number rather than honeybees. And who is this guy? This is a big guy. This is not a Colorado beetle. Looks like a Colorado beetle, just maybe just looks like a Russian beetle. No, this is a leaf beetle, maple beetle, because eating leaves of maple. Flying very well, and quite often can be found even in a city, just sitting somewhere on leaves of maple, and quite visible. Probably this species not eatable because a red color means should be poisonous for birds. And here the same sweet bees or Halictinae. I propose them a drop of honey, so we were very happy to eat honey on leaves, and of course we can clean with the body. They show you that they are hairy and very adapted for collecting pollen from different plants, from different species of plants, from flowers. These are sweet bees, tiny native semi-colonial bees, not solitary bees, but they are making small colony much smaller than honeybees, with very specific behavior. 6 millimeters in comparison with about more than 1 centimeter for honeybee. And who is this? This is a very small insect. Very small insect. I will observe it under the microscope. Who is this insect? Watch. Looks like a butterfly. Looks like a small moth. Yes, it looks like a butterfly. And in English language, the name of this creature is sewage fly, or drainage fly. So this is relative to mosquitoes. Mosquitoes can be living in your house somewhere near pumps, and this is also sewage fly, which is living near pumps in the wet areas and eating some rubbish in pumps in your pumping system, even in kitchen, in the toilet, in the bathroom. So this is a fly, this is not a butterfly. Our family Psychodidae. So this fly is very hairy, with so enlarged wings, very large wings, and it's hairy because she's crawling around water in the sewage system to lay eggs and larvae, eating different microorganisms, some fungi and microorganisms in sewage system, or some rotten food maybe in the sewage system. So, and they're not dangerous, they're not transmitting any disease, but they're slightly irritating because they're flying not very well, but they're just jumping and they can be a little bit irritating if you can find them in your bathroom or in kitchen. So that's why some people are afraid of them very much. You don't need to be afraid. You need to seal very well to protect your sewage system against these flies. And the easiest way is just to use hot water against these flies, so all larvae inside sewage system will die easily because they do not survive very hot water. And even any kind of insecticides will kill all these lovely, very hairy, like night moths, sewage or drainage, drain flies. Very, very funny flies. Very unusual in comparison with the normal mosquitoes or just home flies. Definitely. And next one is coming from the orchard. Next one guy is coming from the orchard. And this will be much bigger than sewage fly. See, with antenna on the left side and the wings on the top. And who is this guy coming here? New one is coming, and this is mole cricket coming. Big mole cricket coming. Slowly loading, sorry. Yes.
С медведкой обыкновенной,
Grilla talpa. Common mole cricket, 2 species. I bought them just in a fish market. I didn't collect them in the nature. I bought it in the fish market because some people sell them just to use for collecting fish, for fishing, because they consider this is a good food for fish. You can use it for fishing. I use it just for observations. Of course, mole cricket is very nice because it has a very interesting adaptations of the first pair of legs and large, very big legs, which are used for not only for crawling but for making holes in the soil, for escaping, for searching for food. And mole cricket has also very developed wings, despite so heavy and large body, which is observed that some individuals can fly, can use this very tiny and wings on the back of a body, and just 2 individuals the same females. It's very important to keep them separately. I have them all together in one jar just for presentation, because if you keep 2 individuals all together for a night, only one will survive because they're a little bit aggressive to each other. We will protect the space, and they're cannibalistic, so they're predators. They can eat different insects. They can eat plants, roots, stems in your orchard, in your garden. But if you can keep 2 individuals together in a jar, one stronger individual will eat, the weaker individual will just kill it and catch the body as a food. So that's why be careful about so lovely insect. If you just bought 2 individuals in the one jar, and after the night only one will survive in a jar, even with soil. One will be hiding in the soil, but another one will be searching for space and just can attack another individual, and the strongest mole cricket will survive. And the last but not the least individual I will show you, this is a cat-eared cricket, green cricket of a genus Phaneroptera falcata, which is very common in a garden, which are common in Europe and actually in orchard, and even in urban areas in a city. just making a very nice tiny noise, which is using his first pair of legs with tympanal organs. You can see here, swollen part, a little bit brown color, swollen part. This is tympanal organs, which are used for hearing, like hearers in mammals, but this is tympanal organs of a cricket, which is belonging to the order Orthoptera. Two brown eyes, very long tiny antennae, very big hind pair of legs, which are used for jumping, definitely for jumping. And Phaneroptera falcata, phytophagous and also partially cannibalistic and partially predator. And this is a male because you cannot see extended stick on the top of a body, so which is called ovipositor. There is no ovipositor in this individual, so this is male. This is male. And of course, this individual, this lovely cricket, is not dangerous, not stinging, not biting. Of course, it maybe can try to bite you if you can put your finger between mandibles to the head of a, just to try to touch the cricket just on the face. So he will try to bite you. He will try to bite you. But originally, he is sitting. This is a male. He's sitting very quietly and just trying to orientate around which place will start to jump, because he's very active, but very easy to find some eggs in the springtime in stems and in leaves, on some grass and on some shrubs like rose, wild rose. And it's easy to rear some very small individual small larvae of this beetle in the springtime. And I had even just small culture of larvae of this species in captivity, because this cricket is surviving even in a pretty strong conditions, strong unfavorable conditions of wet conditions, with some fungi, with some rotten plants, with some rotten leaves, can eat very unfavorable food. So not very careful, like some stick insects which cannot survive in bad conditions of extreme wet bag, but this will survive in a jar with wet conditions, with old plants, and can grow from small larva till a big adult during maybe 1 month. So I had some video of small larvae, which is completely different, rather than this nice green cricket, which is quite often visitor even to some houses, because flying to the light in evening time, in somewhere in June, July, August. June, July, August. Sometimes they're coming inside your balcony because they can fly up to the high level of apartments building, so they can fly very well. But usually they are not visible around because they're sitting somewhere in the grass and shrubs, and they're just singing, and they're very careful, very invisible. So very nice cricket. To be precise, this is not a grasshopper. This is catitid, belonging to the family Titygoniidae of genus Phaneroptera and species Phaneroptera falcata. Let's try to catch it in coming summertime. Will be very interesting individual for observation. And maybe final one. Yes, I wanted to show you a couple of beetles as well. Couple of other beetles. This beetle also a very common urban species, which is belonging to the genus Dorcus. Small stag beetle of the genus Dorcus. So several species, several specimens, even many of them, because they are not flying very well. They can fly, but they are crawling usually in August time. And they can survive even in captivity during the winter time. I have one individual in my culture at the present moment, one still alive just from the August, already more than 4 months. So you can eat some food like some juice and some fruits and vegetables like apples or another fruits, coming very easily to fruits and eating with his pulpy labiale between mandibles on head. You can see here mandibles, big, very sharp mandibles, very small. So this individual about 15 millimeters, not stinging, not biting, very good for observations in captivity, and can live even for 1 month in the summertime, and so can survive, as I said, even up to 5-6 months probably. Let's see. I had several individuals, only one is still surviving and alive in my bag, and I try to feed them with skin of apples from time to time. Very nice beetles for keeping in a culture, not in a culture because it's more difficult to breed it, but just in captivity, feeding it from time to time for observations and for making this type of a video as well for you for presentations. And another beetle which I want to present, this is a smaller beetle, much smaller beetle, which appearing in approximately in May time, which is belonging to also seed beetles or Bruchidae or Bruchinae family at present moment. This name of his Megabruchus dorsalis. And this is a female which is trying to lay eggs in captivity. Size about 6 millimeters. Megabruchideus, much bigger rather than another Bruchidae. Another Bruchidae about 3 millimeters, but this maybe about 6 millimeters size. So it means quite big. So here we can see here some connections between males and females. So we're just looking for mating. We're just using the antennae as sense organs for communications. And from time to time possible to observe how they are mating, and then they are laying eggs in captivity very easily. Very easily. There are some parasitoids of these beetles, and I collected also some parasitoids, even described one new species of these beetles, which is living in seeds of Lydicia, honey locust tree with big pods, very common in gardens, in botanical gardens, and very common on streets of some cities, even in Ukraine as well, and many other countries. But distribution of these beetles are still under the investigation. As I said, females will lay eggs, and it's interesting that they lay eggs about size of 1 millimeter. And here we see how the larva is hatching from the shell of these eggs. Eggs laid in captivity. So eggs about 1 millimeter here. This is a huge magnification under the good microscope. A larvae is very adaptable for difficult conditions because they need to penetrate the pod to search for the very dry seed inside the pod of a Lydicia tree. Pod is very dry, maybe not dry in the springtime, but still usually dry and laying somewhere on the leaf litter. So beetles laying eggs on the surface of the pods of this belonging to the family Fabaceae, Lydicia. This is honey locust tree, Fabaceae. And this very tiny larva, size about 1 millimeter, is penetrating maybe 2 millimeters shell of a pod, coming inside and finding again very strong, very hard seed inside the pod. So very adaptable, using her mandibles just for food, for feeding, and for penetrating the shells to find food, and then it is becoming very well protected inside the pod. And just it's very important for hibernation, because larvae will be growing during the whole season inside the seed, because this is a seed beetle larva and will be living during the whole season. Then during the winter overwintering, and new beetles, as I showed before, Megabruchidius dorsalis or another species, Tonkiensis, will hatch only in the next spring or summertime. So you can make very interesting observations and experiments to search for these beetles in your city, in your country, and it's quite interesting observation for even for science to get more information about distribution of these beetles, which is eating seeds of a gleditschia, English name honey locust tree, big tree with huge, very huge pods. I showed them sometimes. I show you just now. Like here I show you this experiment. Finally. Yeah, so this is a beetle, because today we have video presentation and quite interesting. You can catch these beetles. You receive jar, like this big size jar, and you can collect inside this jar. Here some individuals real. You see these are pods of Gleditschia. We have already entrances, because many beetles already hatched and emerged. So these brown pods dry, and inside seeds of beetles. Emerging beetles will infest again dry pods here and will eat seeds inside these pods. But sometimes some beetles are parasitized by parasitoids of a family Eurytamidae and Trichoromatidae and another species as well. And this is quite interesting scientific observation. You can search for beetles inside these big pods in your country, and you can find very interesting scientific material. If you are interested in cooperation and collaboration, write me on my email. So you see these big pods with beetles inside, and some interesting, even some new scientific knowledge will be very important about distribution, about taxonomical identification of these parasitoids. So let's welcome to cooperate, collaborate. If you can make this investigation about these beetles, keeping them in such jar, closed one of course. So some parasitoids can be hatching outside, or you can make special boxes inside petri dishes and make individual investigation for beetles inside petri dishes. Here just a big size samples, but in a petri dish will be just only selected seeds. Very interesting observations. I will show you in the next video how larvae looks like inside seeds inside seed pods. Okay, thank you for watching. If it was interesting for you, write your questions in the comments. So welcome to my next video stream tomorrow. Today we are lucky we have a light. We have electricity, light because so not switch off like yesterday. Yesterday my stream was with delay for 3 hours. Because we didn't have electricity yesterday, but today it was very good. So today we had electricity and stream was coming online at the appropriate correct time. So write your comments. If you have a wish to support my channel using Patreon page or using PayPal donation, you can drop couple cups of coffee on my account. I will appreciate your donation and will mention you after the description of my videos with insects, I have a list of my sponsors. You can see their names, which donators who are just supporting me on Patreon page, or just using the PayPal. Thank you for watching. Write your comments and write your questions. And if you are interested, enjoy insects and don't forget, Ukraine forever. Good luck. See you soon. Ukraine forever. Bye bye. Good luck. See you soon on my channel. To be continued tomorrow. Good luck. Bye bye.